I'm going to speak about how to get pictures into Foliobook, and the first phase of that is to get them onto the iPad. If you already know how to get them onto the iPad, then there's one or two tips here about how it's good to do this synchronization from your computer to your iPad in this short recording. And if you don't know anything about how to get pictures onto your iPad, well, this should give you a good guide. First of all, you need to connect your iPad into your computer and bring iTunes up. Then you can click on your iPad on the left-hand side, and you'll get to see the iPad screen here on the right-hand side, and there's a whole load of information about what's on your iPad. I've selected the Photos tab up here because this is the important one that allows us to synchronize photos from our computer with our iPad. Now, one of the main things you can see on here is that there are different ways of synchronizing your iPad photos. And one of the ways is you can use iPhotos library and import it into your iPad. You can also use Aperture, or you can choose a customized folder to load them in from. And I prefer to use the folder method. The reason for this, and here's the first tip for people who already know a bit about iTunes and iPads and so forth. The reason I don't like to use iPhoto for my import into the iPad and Foliobook is that iPhoto already creates JPEGs from your pictures, so you can reduce the quality of your images when you bring them into the iPad if you bring them in from iPhoto. So bringing them from a folder is better and gives you more flexibility. So I've got a folder I've called iPad Photos on my computer, and I use this to synchronize all my portfolios with the iPad and also Foliobook. If I double click and open this for a minute, you can see that my iPad Photos isn't full of pictures, but folders full of pictures. So I have a whole bunch of folders, each of which holds a particular project. So some of my pictures here I took are in one folder. If I go up a level, I've got pictures from another folder, and so on, a whole bunch of folders within the main folder. So my iPad Photos folder is composed of other folders. Now, I can choose all the folders to be imported, or I can select folders. Note also that I can include videos. This is important because Foliobook allows you to use videos as a background on your home screen, so you can have a branding that involves a moving background, but you can only import videos that you've brought in this way. So if you want to use video, then you tick this box and include some videos in your iPad Photos folder. I can choose all the folders, or I can select folders, so I can vary it if I want to just put a certain number of things in my portfolio on the iPad. We'll see that this is a really great way of organizing your work, because Foliobook allows you to add a whole folder at a time. So if you already pre-organize some of your work in your computer into a single iPad Photos folder like I've done here, it makes assembling your portfolios on Foliobook incredibly fast to do. So that's how you get photos into Foliobook. You get them in by first of all importing them into the iPad using iTunes. I just mentioned something that can catch people out, because there are other ways of getting information into iPad apps, and one of them is if you go to your Apps tab and drag down, you'll find there's an area called File Sharing. File sharing allows you to drag files and images potentially into your iPad instantaneously from an app. So if I click on Foliobook here, we'll see this Documents area on the right, and it's empty. This Documents area cannot be used at this point for synchronizing photos from your iPad, so any pictures you drop into here will not be visible to Foliobook, at least not in this version. Maybe in the future we'll introduce a feature that allows you to do that. We have other uses for this Documents area which we'll come to in another recording.